On this 50-point inspection, I have salted caramel Framinghgammer. This is from Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers, and they're out of Framingham, Massachusetts. This is a bourbon barrel-aged salted caramel Baltic Porter, 2021 vintage. This is 12% ABV. And it says this variety is aged in bourbon barrels with natural flavors. It does give a little story above that about the barrel-aged Framinghgammer. Framinghgammer is a unique creation that pays homage to our hometown of Framingham, Massachusetts. This is a hard-working city that can handle some heavy lifting beer and appreciates good craftsmanship. The Framinghgammer base is perfectly suited for creating decadent barrel-aged versions every year. Each batch spends a lengthy conditioning period in various casks to create a smooth, chocolatey texture that complements some creative additions. I've had a couple of the other Framinghgammers from this vintage. I've had the French toast, which was excellent. And I also had a Taza chocolate, which was, that one was decent. Wasn't as good as the French toast one. And about to find out how the salted caramel one turned out. So here we go. Right, so the head on this is a nice light chocolate kind of khaki colored head with very, very tight compact bubbles, very foamy looking head, like very soft, pillowy head. Memory foam, as beermen would say. Color of the beer itself is a very deep brown. It's got some nice kind of caramel brown coloration here at the very bottom, just a little tiny ring. Maybe some red hues and stuff mixed in as well, depending on how the light's refracting through it. So, but other than that, you cannot see through this. It's an opaque Baltic Porter. Some aromas. Oh, first thing I get is actually some nice dark fruit notes, like plum, raisin, more raisin. Some chocolate. There may be some caramel. There's nothing that really screams caramel to me on the nose. A little bit of the oak. Maybe some like vanilla type notes. Oh, there's the caramel. Okay. It's sneaking up. So yeah, it smells pretty decent. No real coffee notes. It's more on the kind of fruit, to that raisin, a bit of that bourbon barrel, the caramel when it does pop up, and some light chocolate notes. So not really robust roasty, which is cool and good. Let's get into the first swig here, so cheers. Kind of a lighter side, medium body. It does have a softness on the palate. Carbonation is in the medium realm. Right up front, notice more of that kind of bourbon barrel oakiness out of this. The kind of raisin flavor as well. Slight chocolate. It does have that bourbon burn on the palate. Warming in the chest for sure. So just maybe a touch of like an alcohol sense. But it blends fairly well with the flavor. See, now the first sip on the tail end right before I started talking, I noticed caramel. There was a caramel note, but I didn't want to jump right into that. I wanted to talk about the other notes I was getting, first starting off with the mouthfeel and all that. So as I'm taking a few more sips, I'm not able to pick up on that caramel note again. It was kind of a first hit, and now it seems to have vanished. It's more of that kind of bourbon barrel, that oakiness, that kind of raisin flavor is more prominent even than the chocolate. There's a slight chocolate note that comes up after that, maybe a touch of like a vanilla, and then it kind of goes into this bourbon burn, as I would call it. It's kind of that sensation you get in slight flavors if you take a little sip of some bourbon that's like 80 to 100 proof, and yeah, the caramel has seemed to have gone. All right, so it's time to give this one a score. All right. Well, for the appearance, I will give this one the 6 out of 6. For the aromatics, pretty decent aromatics. I liked picking up on that raisin note right away. The chocolate, it's subdued, but there was a chocolate there. Caramel, when it did hit, it hit. Get it, but it wasn't always there. A little bit of that kind of bourbon-esque oakiness as well. Fairly decent on the aromatics. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. For the flavors, I think this is where it kind of has that downfall. This one tastes more like a straight-up Framinghgammer Baltic porter that's just been aged in bourbon barrels. For the most part, the caramel is missing. It was there in the very beginning, and then it kind of went away. I do enjoy the raisin note that comes through. That's nice. Enjoy that. The bourbon notes come through nice as well. A bit of that oakiness. You can tell that it was barrel aged. The chocolate, it's so light. I wish that there was more chocolate notes in this as well. That's kind of on the lighter side. And then it does have the bourbon burn at the finish. I wish that was kind of a bit lighter. And that may also be contributed with some of the hopping. I think it does kind of lead to a bitter finish on this one. I'd say it's a moderate bitterness for a beer of this stature. And yeah, it just seems to be missing on more the flavors, that the malt could have provided. The caramel, I mean, it's a 1 out of 10 hit. Basically, you get it up front, and then it's vanished. I can't detect it anymore at all. It might be it's a lingering. I get a little bit of a caramel note on the tongue right now as I'm talking for a long period of time. So it's slightly there, I guess. But not enough of it. Not enough to really be noticeable. Drink after drink. It's present because if I'm talking and talking and talking, and then I start to get this little bit of a caramel type note. So it's still there. It's just kind of overwhelmed by some of the other notes in here. I'm going to give this a 14 out of 19 for the flavors. For the body, I mean, it's a lighter side medium body. I would have preferred a heftier medium, but it works okay. I mean, it is barrel aged. It makes it go down fairly easy. It's not filling me up, and it does have that soft mouth feel, even with that medium carbonation. So I'll give it that 5 out of 5 for the body. And for my overall on this one, out of the Framinhammers that I've had, like I said, the French toast one was awesome. I even preferred the to whatever it was, the Taza chocolate one. I still have a tiramisu one that I have yet to have. My friend there, John and Nelly, Georgia Beer Reviews, he had that when he did Framinghgammer show a few weeks back, so I'll have that one at some point as well. I just wanted to do something that nobody in my group has done. So yeah, I'm at a 7. I'm at a 7 out of 10 for this one. Like I said, it drinks more like it's just a standard Framinghgammer that's been bourbon barrel aged, and it's missing. I wish there was more chocolate type notes, something else in there. I do enjoy that raisin note. The raisin note comes through real nice in this. But yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna let the dogs in, so let's wrap this up. Bourbon barrel aged salted caramel Framinghgammer 2021 vintage from Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers is gonna get a bumpy 41 out of 50, which is going to land this as a very good beer. Just want to say cheers, and thank you all for watching.